the singing.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't do very many covers, but sometimes it works out. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Can I stay here at your feet? 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. All the rivers flow onward to the sea. Some things are meant to be. Kind of blew that. Can take my hand, take my whole life too. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. I can't help falling in love with you. With you. Jai Mama.
That was fun.
What was that?
I think it was lovely.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Good night, everyone. I'm going to go eat dinner.
Oh, Roxy, I know. I wanted to just ask you. Did you know Baba's sign for marriage?
What is it?
This. Oh, that's so fun, baby.
I didn't know.
28 years in a couple weeks.
How many years?
30 years.
That looks like my sign for the grinding down that Barbara does.
Did you say 30 years?
30 years we met in November.
Wow, you're almost dust-like.
Been together. We've been
all that grinding.
I was so young. What was I thinking?
Jai Baba. Oh my God.
Now, definitely, I went with what Plato said. By all means, get married. You either be happy or you become a philosopher.
Something like a little bit of both, isn't it?
Now I'm both, yeah, because of Baba. Jai Baba, everyone. Love you.
Jai Baba, Roxy. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Jai Baba.
Thank you, Prakash.
How was that meeting on Saturday that I missed about the center? You want to reflect, Jeff, what's going on?
Well, let Angela. Angela, you go for it.
Oh, I thought it was great. It was really, it was very helpful for everyone to be able to express themselves and to hear how many different opinions there are. And, it was just a very civilized conversation we had. I don't know what the end result will be as far as actually influencing how the Maher Center actually does stuff, but just for the community to be able to speak their mind and hear the communal mind, so useful.
So when are the opening, Angela?
Ah,
And well, the thing too is that we took just an informal vote, and it was overwhelmingly for at least going and allowing people to walk around on the center, keeping a social distance and maybe wearing masks. But we people were for that. Even people that were kind of believed in utmost precaution were felt safe about that it could be done. Just as long as Ganesh doesn't come, and come over maskless.
Oh, maskless.
Yes. Baba's matchless and Ganesh is maskless.
Yeah, the numbers are climbing, I guess, in India.
What's that?
The numbers of COVID cases are going up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And in this country, but South Carolina is going down.
Oh, good.
Just wait.
Yeah.
When things start opening up again.
things have been
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Well,
Things have been open for months.
I don't
I'm
know if
not
this
going
is,
anywhere, so I didn't know what's going on, but just the numbers keep going up when people, you know,
Don't wear masks and don't practice social distancing.
Yeah, but
All
for
right.
whatever reason, in the
Thank
Grand
you.
Strand area, it's not been that bad.
hmm
Well, it's going to be interesting. So next Sunday, I'm doing it's called Porch Jams, and it's through Lakeview Chamber of Commerce. So I'm playing on a neighbor's porch, and they said that we had to be masked with a microphone, but then they showed me this thing where this woman is going around singing, and she's got this plate about this big that goes right her microphone base, and so she's not wearing a mask, but it's only this big. And I'm thinking, well, that's really kind of not, that doesn't seem to, it's not a lot of protection. What they're saying, this is acceptable that you can use something like this. And I'm thinking, that's like this big, and it's not like a plexiglass thing that you put in front of your microphone or behind it, whichever
hmm
Yeah.
way you want to, so.
Hey, Jeffrey wants to share something.
well, one thing is I wanted to point out, you said the numbers are rising in India, but they've also, I don't know if this has made the American news, but they have been doing testing in the slums, and they are beginning to believe that India is also reaching herd immunity, which is a loaded word right now, because I know that because of the political line that America is using that for. But so there's optimism. But I also talked to Johan, who just came up from Mumbai, and his opinion was that they had it under control in Mumbai, and then they opened it up, and then the numbers went up. That was, a while back. So it really depends on who you talk to and what media outlet you follow, it seems. But things are hopeful here, because Mare Colony feels very, very safe because it's a little bubble.
Yeah. Good.
That's all I got.
I can say that.
I just wanted to, can I just butt in? I wanted to put in, to come back and to plug seeing Etzion if you have time in the morning. I had I hosted a meeting with him today, and he's coming back on Wednesday. And he's really an interesting, kind of complicated. He's not a sweet, peaceful fellow, and it sounded like his relationship with Carrie Ben Shammai was constantly trouble. But I recommend seeing him or seeing the video of the interview which happened today. Yeah, so that's all. That's all. Just recommend it tomorrow, Wednesday. Wednesday it'll happen. Yeah. Okay. Night, everybody.
You know, I was looking at the book Harry, and you might find this interesting. It's a conversation between Dr. Kenmore, Harry Kenmore, and Erich. And every once in a while, and these are like recorded conversations that he took a tape recorder and recorded even conversations that were going on with Baba in Mandalay Hall. So it's an unusual book. But here they're talking, I'm kind of breaking in the middle of this, but Erich says about Baba, he is a very tricky person, Erich says, laughing, as a human being. And then Harry says, and yet the Mandalay stuck with him. There's something they got from him, I know. Erich said, no, nothing. We didn't get anything out of it, you see. But there was something in him, just like, and then Harry says, a magnet. And then Erich says, a light, a bright light. You feel warm, you feel comfort, you feel light, and you feel company. He was like a live Dooney. And then Harry says, a live Dooney. I see, a live Dooney. The fire gave you warmth, gave you companionship, and gave you protection too. Erich said, that's right. And Harry says, he supplied you with your food. He provided all those things like a live Dooney. Erich said, this is kind of interesting here. He says, we just don't feel lonely. But there is something here that can protect us. And Harry says, you feel complete. That's it. Erich says, complete. That's the right word. You got the feeling of completeness. And Erich said, completeness. So therefore, there was nothing to ask for. You felt safe, satisfied, Harry said. Erich, I think that is it. This is the first time that somebody has said the correct answer. And Harry laughs. What did you say, Harry? Harry says, completeness. You had the feeling of completeness near him. Erich said, that is the very reason you see, despite all these things, we could be with him. The feeling of completeness is there. Harry, that sums it up. Erich, he was like the monarch. He would say that I would want to give you something, but we were so complete in his presence, what he would give us or what he didn't give us didn't matter. And Harry said, no matter what he said or promised, it didn't matter. Erich, this is a very good way, Harry. This is the right thing that you're saying. And Harry says, as long as you're with him, there's nothing else you needed. You didn't need a mother, you didn't need a father, a sister, or brother. You didn't need friends, you didn't need books, you didn't need anything. You did it just to be near him and do his will, right? And Erich said, right. Harry says, do his bidding. In an instant notice, be at his service. Erich said, this is one of the signs of a true God-man, not the fake. How can you distinguish one from the other? One is pseudo, another is real. How do we distinguish? And Harry says, how can you do it? And Harry says, this is the sign. Eric says, this is the sign. Eric says, one feels complete. The feeling of completeness overpowers us. Nothing is wanting, absolutely nothing. No matter whatever you heard about a so-called master, yogi, or not, it didn't mean a thing. You were complete. You weren't attracted to anyone else. Nobody could entice you away, Harry says. Even God realization, mind you. Not even with God realization. Such was the completeness that not even God realization would attract us. So amazing, that feeling of completeness, but it's something to ponder, uh, you know, that feeling of completeness that Baba awakens in us, and we really don't need much at all. Just think of so many people, they gotta make it in the world. They have to have a fancy house like Lanita has. They gotta have a swimming pool like Jake doesn't have. No, no, nothing. You know, I'll cash my check at the center, and then I'll say, hey, I got this money. What do I want? I can't think of anything. Maybe I'll go over to Books a Million, see if there's a book there. I look around. No books kind of attract me. Like nothing needs to be added. It's a beautiful thing that Baba is awakening in us.
So, yeah, I agree. There's all these people who go. I know all kinds of people who follow Amma, the hugger,
Yeah.
and I always get invited, and they say, Michelle, can you should come with us, and I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm his. Yeah.
Not that these people are. Could be very genuine, loving people, but you don't quite have that same impulse to get something, you know? Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's lovely. I just don't.
Jeff, that was the completeness they felt was in Baba's physical presence. So now that Baba is not in his physical body, how do we feel that completeness? Because it was so powerful in his physical presence that they could just feel that completeness.
You're right there, but see that conversation took place after Baba had dropped his body, and Erich is still saying that completeness is there. So it's inherent in us if we can get to that place within us. It's not like it has to be developed. It's more like it has to be discovered, you might say. Well, Darwin, I've quoted this hundreds of times. Darwin used to say, sooner or later, you discover you're nobody, and that is not an unhappy discovery. So when you're nobody, you don't have to become something special in the world, and you don't have to become something special spiritually. You're fine, You just kind of sit up in New Jersey and just, relax.
What I love about that this vision, this viewpoint, is how simple it is. There isn't much to it. You have all these, religions and spiritual practices or spiritual trainings that have all these things associated with them and all the fandangled buzzwiggers and all these kind of things. And this is just simple. We just focused on being complete.
Yeah, there was one of the early Mandali, his name was Pleader, he came to Bob in the early 20s, and he wanted God realization. He kind of got to Mehrabad and insisted, that he wanted God realization, and Baba promised he would give it to him. And I think it was like for, I don't know, maybe even a year in the post office, just on milk, and he was put through all sorts of things. And then eventually he was moved back to Bombay, and I don't know about his contact in the intervening years, but he came back in 1938 and said, Baba, you promised you were going to give me God realization. And at the time, Pendu and a lot of the Mandali were putting the superstructure over the converted water tower and the dome over the tomb. They were like in the middle of preparing this, and so while he right there when Pleader was wanting God realization, he saw Pendu here and said, Pendu, I'll give you anything. What do you want? Pendu said nothing and then went back to work. So there you have it right there, What do you want? Nothing, Baba. Kind of beautiful.
Baba.
Baba did give him realization in the end.
Yes, there's the continuation of this story. Go on. Tell us. I heard you say that before.
Well, this is what Bao kind of felt. He eventually, there were a lot of people that were close with Pleader, and I think he had meetings there in Bombay, and he got very sick, and those that were close with him insisted on taking him to Marizad, and and Baba had said and promised he would give him realization, so they brought him to Marizad. He was really quite ill, and I can't remember all that transpired there, but because he was ill, he was sent out to Mehrabad, and at the time Balkauchuri was ill. And so there are the rooms there at the that are just off the side of Mandali Hall in Lower Mehrabad. So Bao and Pleader were in the same room, and in the middle of the night, Pleader says, "Turn off the lights! Turn off the lights! Turn off the lights!" And he died, and it woke up Balkauchuri, and Bao felt that Baba kept his promise at the end, and he received what Baba had promised him. So but just as long as we don't want anything, we should be doing all right. No, that was yeah, very nice.
I have a little reading I would like to share, and then I do have to go. I do want some sleep this evening.
Yeah.
Not quite there at the completeness stage, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. There's always completeness tomorrow.
So this is from volume 2 of Mera Meher, and just a short little excerpt that I really found very comforting and loved very much. Baba loved the musts so much, Mani explained, because their longing was born out of love for God. It was not a bargaining. In other words, loving Baba as if he were a rich uncle who will leave you his treasure, not for something in return, not a calculated thing. Musts cannot do anything but love, like moths to a flame. The must is not longing to receive, but to give. Even if we reach the point of just the longing to do something when we haven't the capacity to do it, it is enough. For when the longing is the key, he takes over, he helps. And in particular, what I really like about this phrase is that our, our capacity to have love like the musts did for God is, I guess you can say it's minimal, but that even as great as that love is, for us, for me personally, let me speak personally for me personally, just for me to have the capacity to get to a place where I feel like I can't really do something, but I have the longing to do it anyway. Baba comes over and helps.
Oh, wait, hold it a second. Okay, go ahead. Say that again. Wait.
That for me, when I feel like I know I can't do something, but I have the longing to do it, like be complete, and allow that to be my focus on God, that God comes and helps, that Baba comes in and helps at that point, knowing full well that you can't have, knowing full well that I am not capable of that, he comes in and helps me fulfill that. And I just love that support, that view and image, the feeling of support from Baba.
Yeah. If we go to the deepest part of ourselves, there is that completeness, and that's only a matter of time before we move our consciousness from the attention of things in time to that timeless place within us. That's, Baba is moving us toward that place, which is beautiful. In and behind this life in the world, he's actually moving us into that completeness.
Well, there's that beautiful quote that Erich would pass out: even if you can't honestly long for love, you could long for love.
Yeah.
And it goes
Yeah.
on. It's really long for love.
Yeah.
And love is always open to us. You can long for love. If you can't run to the Lord, you can crawl. If you can't crawl, you can pray for the ability to someday be able to crawl to him. And you may be surprised to find that even crawling is not necessary, because the Lord himself has come to you and is carrying you on his back.
Beautiful. Yeah. Wow, you remembered that quite well.
I set it to music.
Oh. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, these things happen.
That was an accurate quote.
Jake, where do you live? Where are you living?
Pennsylvania, in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, about an hour west of Philly.
Yeah, so it's getting late for you.
It's getting late, yeah. And this is busy season as a teacher. This is a lot of work. So I don't get to come to the late night chats anymore. So this is my hello and goodbye, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
What grade do you teach? Professor.
9th through 12th grade, all different ages depending upon the class. But
there you go. Yeah, we got a 17-year-old. Yeah, they're all online.
Yep, I'm right there with him.
For you guys.
Yeah. I'm glad that you have a retired teacher in your household. He's not dealing with all this craziness. So anyway, everyone have a good night. Jai Baba, everybody.
Yeah, and you got to see Cindy James. Right?
That's right, we did.
The kids were down there. Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful visit.
Well, it's always nice to have you come on, Jake, and bring things that make us think a little bit.
Good. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good Baba.
Baba, Jake. Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
I'm gonna walk the dog. You can talk to Marvin.
Yeah. Starvin Marvin.
Why don't you go walk?
I don't have any lyrics memorized though. Sorry.
Ganesh, you got anything happening there?
Not nothing coming to my mind at this moment.
Yeah.
So just
I gotta go. Good night, folks.
Okay, see you, Lenita. Yeah.
Good night, Lenita.
Time to depart, time to depart.
Voters to
Go
encourage.
with Baba in your heart.
We're doing Baba's work.
Yeah.
Baba's work.
I don't know. He does it. It's already done. According to Charles, the work is already done. What does that mean? Oh, please.
Yeah, I know. Monty used to say the script has already been written. We're just trying to remember our lines.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck with that. Wow.
So, Mayor Prasad, anything from your neck of the woods?
okay.
You know, Jake's,
Go ahead.
you know, Jake brought up that must, and I remembered a story about Behlul, how he became a must. You know Behlul, right? All of you know Behlul. He was a must, Persian must, and there is that beautiful story of the necklace, involving necklace of the queen. But how he became a must was, you know, was a story of when someone is ready, it just takes a little bit of thing for them to actually, you know, become a master, or going to, you know, basically come into the perfect master or avatar or whatever it is. But the story goes like Belul was, you know, he was a king before, as all of you know, and he was sleeping on his bed in his palace one day, and it was night, and you probably heard this story, but I'll repeat it anyway.
Yeah, no, I can't remember.
And on one night he hears all this sound, a lot of noise on top of his on the place, you know, above the palace roof, and he just awakens with this with so much of noise. And he wakes up and he looks up and he sees a whole bunch of people on horses. And he yells, "Hey, who is there?" And the voice comes back and says, "We are wayfarers." And Belul shouts, "What are you doing there on my roof, on the palace roof?" And they come back saying, "Never mind who we are and what we are doing, but who are you and what are you doing?" And Belul says, "Well, I'm the king of this empire, and this is my palace, and I'm sleeping, and you are making all this noise." And the voice comes back and says, and Belul says, "But never mind what am I doing here. What are you doing there in the middle of the night, making all this noise?" And the wayfarers say, the voice comes back and says, "Well, we are wayfarers, but before we answer that question, you are the king of this palace, but who were you before that?" And Belul says, "I don't know." And they come back and say, "And who will you be after?" And Belul says, "I don't know." And then they say, "You don't know because you too are a wayfarer just like us. This is just a temporary thing that you are on." And with that, Belul just, you know, he gives up his kingdom. That's how he becomes a must.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. I vaguely remember that, but that's nice.
Yeah, it says that with in the context of how when someone is ready, it just takes, you know, you two are a wayfarer. That's all it took for Belul to become a must.
Yeah.
When was this? What age or?
1 second. Oh.
I don't know the year. Jeff might know, or somebody, you know. I don't know the year in which, or the century in which Belul was the, king. It may be there on somewhere on the internet. I'm sure Prakash is searching.
Okay. I'll look.
Maybe 12th century. I don't know actually.
Huh? 12th century?
Maybe I'm not sure actually. Prakash, are you looking up? You are muted.
I think I'll leave it to Ganesh. Ganesh has better resources. No, I tried, but there are a lot of things which say Balul here, but I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm.
even I'm just trying to find that same thing.
He was a Persian king.
Was he Balul Lodi or something? Lodi dynasty?
I don't know.
1527, they say.
Jeff, do you know which century Belul was?
No, but you know that the story about little Baba told, and it had a moral to it or a meaning. Do you remember this?
Well, there are three stories of Belul. The one with the necklace, the
The
one
one with the
sleeve,
profound.
and the one there is a sleeve story, there is a necklace, and there is a story of the bald head.
Yeah, I was thinking of the one that Baba told, which is about the necklace.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
but I can tell it briefly because it had a meaning, but there's a reason for Baba telling it. So this Balul, he became a must.
I'll
What
tell the
happened?
context in which Baba said that. The context was to basically he was telling the Mandali how fortunate they were with him and how the world will come later to realize him, but no matter how much price they pay, it won't be enough. Whereas the little price that the Mandali paid to be with him is unparalleled, or
Like
you guys,
now, if you come, now is the right time, and with the little price that you pay, is you get the kingdom, and tomorrow it's like you may give everything, and it just the price
yeah,
that you can't buy anything at that price too.
yeah, that was the moral. Once you know who Baba is, it is so much, you have to surrender so much more. You have to give up so much more. And and I always think of Jungli Master, who Jungli Master was in Pune as a student, and I guess maybe it was in the summer months or something. He looked into a newspaper, and there was a job for someone to do some marketing, and which was in Ahmednagar. So he goes out to goes out to Mehrabad, and there's Baba, and they need someone to do the shopping in the city. But he sees Baba and everything, and he, becomes a lifelong follower of Baba. In other words, he didn't know who Baba was or anything, and just stayed on and became a lifelong Mandali member. So it's kind of beautiful that way. Had no idea of Baba's status, who Baba was, and he just got the job and just never quit.
Yeah.
Great job security. Yeah.
Yeah, that lasts for lifetimes. How do you apply for that job?
Just checking your newspaper, the want ads.
Yeah, check the newspaper.
Don't they say the difference between a job and a career is the career finds you, you find a job. So with Baba, it's a career because he finds you.
Aha, good. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
I always remember those aptitude tests that I took back in high school. You know, that you could either be a scientist, an artist, or a minister.
Huh.
And I don't know. I've done a little of each.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember those Cooter interest tests or something like
Right. Yes.
yeah. So Ganesh, you got anything happening there?
Yeah, just one thought. Like, I just wanted to know what do you do? Certain times we do feel Baba's present a lot. You just think about him. You feel his love. You feel it so powerful and everything. And there are certain moments when you are just like, it's not there. That presence which you are feeling, you're not finding that same presence when you're remembering it, or it's that same intensity, or you're not feeling Baba's love the way you might have felt in some other moment. So, Jeff, what do you do when you feel such moments where it's like it's a void moment and you're not feeling Baba's love? And what do you do in those moments?
Well, I mean, I think I told you when, back in the 70s, I think I may have written what I wrote down, but I was there and I was there saying goodbye to Mara. She was on the porch and she was saying goodbye to this woman who had come to the end of her pilgrimage and she was going on her way back. And Mara was telling her that take Baba with her, remember Baba, Baba will be helping her and everything. And then at one point she said, this is Mara saying, sometimes we feel empty and depressed, but we know Baba wants us to be cheerful. And now I was young and kind of naive, and I thought, she has been with Baba all these years, next to the source of all love. And she doesn't feel that joyous presence of Baba in her heart all the time. What I what I thought is love must be something different from what I thought. I mean, because of course Mara is radiating love, and when she looks at you, you can feel the love. But she herself is not enjoying all the time the state that she's radiating. But anyway, so up to that point, I thought, I would feel Baba, and then if I, in the morning or something like that, and then somehow I lose that feeling of Baba in my heart, and I would feel like, God, what did I do? I did something wrong. I lost that feeling, and I try to get it back. But after that, I, I realized that love, that love for Baba, that presence of Baba, is what can I say? It's or the mood that I was in or how I was feeling is something different. What can I say? I shouldn't take how I'm feeling as a sign that Baba isn't with me. I mean, because after Mara said that little scene, I never felt bad if I was was in a bad mood or felt depressed or empty or anything. I saw that moods and how I feel are like seasons, and some of these spiritual groups, they try to keep you in the springtime of your moods and feelings. Well, it's just not going to be possible because moods and emotions move on into the summer, and it gets scorching and it's dry and heat and then it moves into fall and you feel invigorated and hopeful and everything. Then it becomes desolate in winter. Though the emotions and all of our feelings are on a different track from the love that we have. So she really helped me immensely on just a little exchange there. I didn't. So if whether I feel Baba or don't feel Baba, it doesn't bother me. In fact, someone asked Kitty Davy, do you feel Baba? She said, oh, no, I haven't felt him in years. I mean, amazing. I haven't felt him in years. But yet she was so loving. But she didn't get to tune into her own love, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
She could feel other people's love, but not her own.
The,
So
the thing that
that helped me not to take it personally if I'm feeling Baba or not. He is definitely there, just behind me, looking after my life. And the love is whether I might be able to feel my love, but I might not, and that's all right. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, I got your point.
Yeah.
the way that I think of it is, if we feel him all the time, we wouldn't long for him. The longing wouldn't be there. The reason
Yeah.
that we don't feel him is what really increases our longing. And I remember that, and I remember this whenever I feel like that, I just know that it is the longing that makes me feel that or miss that feeling of him being with us.
Yeah.
And if I'm in very low moments, I know that it's the longing, and I read this Darwin Shaw's last section of his book, As Only God Can Love.
Yeah.
I'll read it again one more time, but I have this on my phone, and I keep reading this every once in a while. It's very beautiful the way he put it.
Okay, so Per Prasad, you know what? I'm so happy to know even you read that, because I often read that last paragraphs, 3 paragraphs of his book.
Oh, really?
Yes, the
Wow.
longing part.
I want to
So,
hear this.
welcome to the club. So I am just happy to know that, and it's right here.
Yeah, read it, Mayor Prasad. Yeah.
This is called He is Love. This is the last section of the book from Darwin Shaw. I'll read the first 2 paragraphs. It goes, Meher Baba came, quote, like a thief in the night, end quote, as he used to say, to steal our hearts and then disappear from view. Baba did not come to satisfy our intellects with explanations or to satiate our hearts with feelings of love. He came to pierce our hearts with longing for divine love. And this longing propels us to seek the goal of creation, reality, truth, abiding love. One time during his last weeks of intense suffering, Baba communicated to Bhau Kalchari, one of the Mandali serving as Baba's night watchman, quote, when I release the arrow of my love, it will strike deep and wound the hearts of all. The wounds will make them have my darshan continuously. They will have that longing for me, and that is my real darshan.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
Lovely. I was in this book. Erich talks a little bit about this. Erich and Harry Kenmore. One second here. Okay. This is kind of after Baba had dropped his body. So Harry says, because all life is merely preparing yourself to continuously receive and become conscious of the residence as well as the presence of God. People always talk of the presence. I want to also talk of the residence of God within you, not the presence. And Erich says residence. Harry says the presence is still something outside and around you. Yes, Erich says, but there should be a residence within you. That's it. And Erich says, very good, very good. Harry says, that's what I'm trying to get at. Everyone talks about the presence, and I knew it was wrong. Now I got the word. It's the residence of God within you. Now, and Erich says, right. Harry says, not the presence. His residence is in you. How's that, boy? He says to Erich. Erich says, I tell you, please remember these points and base your talk on this. This will be very illuminating for so many. And Harry says, in our experience with him as a Mandali, we know that we had physical residence with him. Erich says, right. And though his man form is gone, he is even more resident within us than ever before. And Erich says, quite right. Because of the fact that he has been physically present with us, so he's resident in us. Through this residence, we can feel and we can respond to the enlivenment of his presence. But then Harry says about the presence. This fragrance of that, I mean, the experience of his presence can be blown away with the wind. It is only temporary. But if he has his residence in you, he lives there. No matter where you go, he goes with you. He is never out of his residence, because he is never out of your heart, never out of your body or your mind. He becomes part and parcel of your living and your being in this world. So that's kind of, I mean, beautiful that he makes a distinction between Baba's presence and his residence in us.
Very beautiful.
That experience is permanent. The feeling Baba's presence can come and go, but his residence in us, when we know that he's always there, will see us through everything. That's kind of what I gather.
Somewhere Baba said, every heart is my temple. So I guess.
Yeah. If we can get the experience of that. You know.
Well, you guys are lovely.
Yeah, good. Always great to see you guys.
Hey,
and the music.
Yeah,
and the reading there. You know, Marvin, you have a very good way of reading.
Yeah.
You serve it up.
Puts me to sleep every night.
Oh. Yeah, well.
No, I'm teasing. No, but he does read.
It awakens us and it puts you to sleep, you know. Yeah. Our condolences.
I mean, he does read to me, and sometimes I'm just.
Yeah, we're reading Stay with God.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
You're reading some other things too that I never get through those stories.
You're asleep by the time
I'm just too exhausted. That's really the problem. It's sweet. It's sweet.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, Jai Baba. Yeah.
Baba.
You
I'm
know,
going to sign off. Great to see you all.
Yeah,
Jai
see
Baba,
you,
Jai
Jeffrey.
Jai Baba.
Wave to the tomb for us.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do. I'll think of you
From
all.
all of
there.
us here.
Think
Jai
of
Baba.
all of us.
You read my mind because that's where I'm going. So.
Yeah. Good.
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jeffrey.
What was I? Just going to say something.
You're saying about the residents.
Yeah, it's not a bad sign if you don't continuously feel Baba's presence. But here's the analogy that Adi used to give, Adi Kairani. He said, you know, you love your mother, but do you have to feel her presence? Uh, you know, when you're out and around at the grocery store or you go to work, do you have to feel your mother's presence? You know of the love that you share with your mom. You don't have to say mother, mother, mother. You know, it's
Yeah.
there. That love is resident. Your love for your mother is resident in you, and it never leaves you. So it's kind of like that. Yeah.
It's a sort of knowing so natural. I mean, so inherent, so deep. I mean,
Yeah.
Along the similar lines, there is a quote of Baba that says, "If you think more of me and less of your worldly affairs, my work will be done well." That's
Yeah.
his quote. It goes, if you think more of me and less of your worldly affairs, my work will be done well.
Yeah.
My work, my the way that I work is all about thinking. I have to think all the time. That's
Yeah.
work. It's in software. I have to think all the time, and in Microsoft there is basically the work hours are like 14 hours a day. So I am thinking, and all the 14 hours are mostly thinking. So
Yeah.
if I don't think about this worldly affairs, it's not possible for me to work. And I used to struggle quite a bit initially. This was a long time back, but because if I think only of Baba, how can I do my work? I won't be able to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But over time, I'm also a workaholic. I just work like crazy, and um, and I enjoy it. It's not like
Yeah.
it's a chore for me or anything. But uh, over
14
time,
hours a day.
sorry, what did you say, Jeff?
14 hours a day?
Yeah, I used to work 14 hours. Not these days. These days it's more like more 10 hours or something. But there was a long period of time where I worked 14 hours a day.
But you just work one day out of the week, right? How many days did you work?
I used to work 6 to 7 days a week. It was like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
Microsoft in early years, like in the late 90s and early 2000, people just worked like crazy. They were basically workaholics. They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
Recently, it's not that bad. In the last 10 years, it's gotten much better. We don't, it's
Yeah.
not 14 hours days, but it's still, everyone works 10 hours or something like that per day.
Yeah.
But I
Ganesh will
struggle
probably
with
have the same, right? Let's see, Ganesh. I just want to see if is that kind of
And
your,
yeah,
is that your kind of life too? Working?
yes, yes, more or less my life too. So because I'm also in IT software, so it's more of like my life too. But yes, recently my times are much more reduced thanks to Baba.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You guys ought to compare notes,
But after some time, that feeling really went away because um, the thinking was on a different level, and the heart was. That my heart was with Baba, even though my mind was
Yeah.
thinking of actual work. So when I figured that, it didn't bother me anymore whether I was thinking of him or actually the work.
Yeah.
Because the work itself was, once you get to the realization that the work itself is his work that you are doing at the back of your mind, it's okay that you think so much
Yeah.
of the work. It doesn't become a worldly affair anymore.
Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, that's incredible. And you have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do that in order to, you have to come to that realization to, I mean, I remember Baba I mean, Adi's saying that Baba he was studying in college, and he said, Baba, am I supposed to be, thinking of you when I'm studying? And Baba said, no, you think of me before you study, then you study, and then you think of me afterwards. But in your case, it's 14 hours.
Not now, but it used to be.
Yeah, yeah, that's incredible.
One thing I found during work, certain times when I put it to Baba, a lot of times things go much easier and they just happen. Like what I would have thought, like it would take a lot of time for me for this work or something. It's just like it's already done or some part is already done. I don't need to do it. And those lot of things happen and I get a lot of space. That's what I've been realizing that when you give it a lot to Baba, it's like he takes a lot of work and things just automatically fall in place.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah, I had these experiences like where I had to there was a lot of work spending but it just when I put it to Baba and everything, it just fell in place.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a totally mindless job, so I was kind of free.
Yeah, but that's a blessing, right? When your mind you can give it to Baba.
I mean, I would never have chosen doing domestic work for a living. I mean, with my education, my background, my cultural background, and everything, I would never have chosen this kind of work. And thank God Baba did, because it left me free-minded.
Yeah.
So that I could think of Baba in a lot of different ways, and left me free to connect with all of his lovers who come here. But it violated what I was supposed to be doing with my life from the worldly standpoint. But it was funny because my dad, who was basically he would say he was an atheist, but he was kind of into truth. But my parents would come here, and I remember my dad in the refectory one day early on when had been working here for a few years, and he was there in the refectory, and my dad said, "Son," I mean, I'm talking with all my education, and all of that, and background. He said, "Son, this is the perfect job for you." I had to laugh. I mean, he recognized that even though I wasn't using any of my talents, any of my cultural background or education, it suited me, and he was able to see that. Not that my parents didn't pressure me on anything that I did, but I was kind of a credit to my dad that he was actually able to even see, even though he was basically kind of an atheist, he could see when that I was in my element. His prejudice didn't get in the way. Yeah, no, it's kind of neat.
He must have seen you.
What's that?
He must have seen you very happy at the center. So he said, "That's all I want for my son," right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even, I wasn't doing, I was just kind of carrying on doing the work. I didn't even know that was apparent, but it was apparent to him. Yeah. Now, Prakash, were you in the computer world also?
I was, yeah, I was, and I mean, I had similar experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, there are always peak times. It's not continuously for several years, but again, I tell you, there were times when I would just pull my hair off, and and when the clients come to test what you do, and what you did is not 100% right according to their expectations, then right there is the problem. And yeah, I went through horrid times. I mean,
yeah,
we would go to the client's place to have the thing that we did tested, and it'll obviously not meet their expectations. And then, in order to please them, you work day and night. And and there was a time when it was so intense. one day I came home. There was only 1 day break in that particular week. And I saw Meher Baba's call 7 times or 8 times. I don't know how many times. But I just, my family was in India and I was alone and I was literally staying at work. And then one day I said, I just can't take it anymore. And then came home and just watched this movie over and over, over and over. That kind of thing. It happens to everybody, I guess. I mean,
yeah. And now that you're retired, I mean, you have nothing but empathy for these other two guys, right?
yeah, I know. I mean, I feel bad for you.
Yes.
But one day they'll get there, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
a rough time.
Yeah. We should even pray for them, I think.
Now I have a decent amount of time. I wish I can do more Baba's work.
Yeah.
But again, yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
and pause the recording.
high school in New York, and New York school system teaching is just, it is frustrating and exhausting, and the kids were so unruly, and every day was just horrible for this lady. I mean, just torture, going in and trying to uh, what can I say, how corral some cats together, you might say. And in the middle of this, while she was going through such torture, Baba sent a cable saying he was very pleased with her work. Can you imagine? I mean, that's just the very last thing that she had a thought of, you know.
Hey, Jeff, one
Yeah.
a question out of what we're talking about. Does Adele Walkin have some sort of Russian background?
Yeah.
Okay. No, because I'm just trying to digitize a tape and there's nothing written on the tape. But I hear that she says she is the she and Norina worked to set up the meeting in. I mean, they probably worked a lot towards a meeting in Myrtle Beach Center and so on and so forth. And she says, I mean, I don't think I'm saying it right. I didn't hear it fully. But then there was one word where she says, "Oh, I mean, I have the same Russian background." So then I thought, I mean, it sounded like Adele. So I
Yeah,
thought I'll just check.
Adele was Jewish,
Mhm.
but wasn't really identified with that.
Okay.
In fact, she during her college days, both she and Phyllis went to Columbia University, and there's a Riverside church that's near Columbia, and in that church there is a there is a painting of Jesus and his disciples. And often people take just that one picture of Jesus because it's when Yogananda said that the picture that looks most like Jesus when he appeared to him in a vision looked like this particular photograph. I mean, this particular painting, but the Jesus in this painting. But anyway, um, uh, so Adele is there and she's doing her homework there, and she looks up to that, painting, and she says that one day I'm going to meet Jesus. I mean, she just like, this is years before she actually met Baba, but she, and didn't even have the Christian background. One day I'm going to meet Jesus. That's fascinating. That.
Wow.
And Nadine Tolstoy also has some Russian background, obviously, right?
Yeah. She was Russian.
Okay. Yeah. She actually mentioned Nadine Tolstoy, not Norina. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Norina was Italian, and
yeah.
Nadine was married to, they say, the son or the grandson of Leo Tolstoy.
That's what I heard.
But
yeah.
I never could quite figure out.
I thought she was the daughter.
Huh?
Wasn't she the daughter-in-law of Leo Tolstoy?
Yeah. Well, that's what I think, but it might have been a grandson of Leo Tolstoy,
Oh,
or something. I wasn't quite sure, but she had married one of the Tolstoys,
Mhm.
and it might have been his son, Ivan, maybe. Yeah. I used to get together at college. Adele would meet me. I mean, the beautiful thing about the early people that met Baba, this is back in the 60s, is that they took such a personal interest in us when we were coming to Baba. So um, Adele and I mean, I could go sit with these older people, Baba people, and just hear all their stories. They had all met Baba, and they would share their stories. After the Monday night meetings there on West 57th Street in New York, we would go over to one of this a thing called a Horn and Hardart, which was one of the what did they call those? Automats. You know, you could go over and get a piece of pie out of a machine and coffee and all that. But we after the meetings we'd push all these tables together and everybody would sit around with, say, coffee and pie or cake, and just listen to all these intimate stories. I mean, none of it was recorded, unfortunately, because there's all these people that had their own beautiful experiences of Baba.
Right.
But then Adele used to meet me up at college,
Mm.
and we would I could ask anything about Baba. They were that personal.
Yeah, that's true.
And Adele and I were at it was funny. There were the riots at Columbia University in 1968, and uh, Adele and I were there, and during these riots, we decided we had all these universal messages that we handed out, and students had taken over some of the administration building and some of the buildings on campus, and so there was, and police, and it was a mess. But we had been handing out this universal message, and somehow the president of the university took exception to the fact that these universal messages were being passed out, and summoned Adele to him to tell her not to pass out these messages. Incredible. I mean, like, riots are going on, terrible things are going on, and he gets fascinated on Baba and this little pamphlet we're handing out.
So you both were at the same school at the same time, I mean, Columbia?
No, this was after she'd been many years before.
Oh, okay.
But she
Oh,
would,
she would come to the college while you were there.
yeah. Yeah, she was there in the 40s, I guess. I was there in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
she said that her link with Baba was very much tied to Phyllis.
Yeah.
That Phyllis played a very important part of her, connection with Baba.
Yeah.
I think they were connected souls, right? Baba did say they both were connected.
And Baba used to send his cables to them, Philadel. Like Fred Ella, Philadel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Phyllis Frederick, right? Phyllis Frederick.
Yeah. Phyllis Frederick.
So, and Phyllis had all the psychic powers, right? And Baba said not to use them.
Yeah, she was fascinating to listen to. If you ever get a tape,
I have a bunch
sit down
actually.
and listen to her for 24 hours, 72 hours, and never get tired. She had such interesting things to say and such insightful things. Yeah.
Something you can think of something insightful she might have shared.
Say that again.
Something you can think of right now, something insightful that she shared with you.
I mean, the main thing is that she had such a personal uh, interest in. I mean, to me, that's one of I mean, that's what the Mandalay, the way they were, and she, took a very personal interest in my life, not just back then as a college student, but all the way until she passed on. The Mandalay would take a personal interest not just on that visit that you took to Merzad. They had a lifelong interest in how we were doing with Baba. It was phenomenal, beautiful thing. I mean, that's the legacy that they passed on. Let me see if I think of anything that.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm going to play something short. Can you help identify the lady speaking? I'm sure you can. So, yeah, here, 1 second.
The difference between psychic and spiritual experiences.
Can you hear?
Yeah, it's definitely Phyllis Frederick.
Comes up these days.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I said. Not sure.
Have had one or the other, or beginning to have the other, and want to know where it's at.
Thanks. I just thought I'll find out from you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I wrote Phyllis Frederick, but not sure. So, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yep, that's Phyllis. Hey, well, let's see. Anything else, or shall we head off to our individual layers?
But you thought like something significant, that'd be the last thing.
Something, yeah. Anybody have a quota, Bob, or anything? Let's see. I think Prakash is still working with something here.
No, I mean, I thought I'll share this in the Arti meeting, but I didn't get a chance. But this is the new life message, but we all know that. So would you want me to read that quickly, or you have something else?
Yeah.
The New Life by Meher Baba. The new life, this new life is endless. And even after my physical death, it will be kept alive by those who live the life of complete renunciation of falsehood, lies, hatred, anger, greed. I'm sorry, I mean, it's covered here. Okay. Hatred, anger, greed, and lust. And who, to accomplish all this, do no lustful actions, do no harm to anyone, do no backbiting, do not seek material possessions or power.
Hari Mir, Hari Mir, Mir, Hari.
He's muted.
Yeah.
And, who accept no homage, neither covet honor nor shun disgrace, and fear no one and nothing. And by those who rely wholly and solely on God and who love God purely for the sake of loving. Am I reading completely here? 1 second, sorry.
That's right, yeah.
No, because it looks like it's partly covered, but let me, okay. By those who rely wholly and solely on God and who love God purely for the sake of loving, who believe in the lovers of God and in the reality of manifestation, and yet do not expect any spiritual or material reward, who do not let go the hand of truth, and who, without being upset by calamities, bravely and wholeheartedly face all hardships with 100% cheerfulness and give no importance to caste, creed, this window covered caste, creed, and religious ceremonies. The new life will live by itself eternally, even if there is no one to live it. Jai Baba.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful message.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody said that you read that first line is, this new life is endless. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. That.
No, it's, yeah, I have heard it read by somebody like Darwin or somebody else, I don't know who, but it was so beautiful when they read it. I mean, it sinks in just deep. And
Yeah.
I don't know Darwin, but somebody else, I don't know.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Maybe Henry Cashaudy, perhaps.
So.
But it's really very difficult to be cheerful in the face of all these, whatever calamity that comes your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, the cheerfulness doesn't mean that you have to have a smile on your face all the time. But I guess, like somewhere, Erich tried to explain what cheerfulness means to him. He basically said, have that warmth in your heart. I mean, and your face may look a little glum, that's fine. But have that, there should not be any sadness in your heart. There should be that warmth and that love going out and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dinku, how are you doing? Okay?
Yes, okay. Been very busy lately.
Uh-huh.
But not been too regular on all the sessions.
Yeah.
But I hope I can. Can you all see my video? I don't know because I'm not getting it over here.
We can see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because normally I get a little window when I'm speaking, showing me speaking, but
Yeah. No,
I,
we see you. Yeah.
okay, because I'm having some problems with my phone as well as the internet.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
My favorite Baba saying is, things that are real are given and received in silence. I don't know, from the very first time I saw it when I went to Mehrabad, it just hit me. And that's become my mantra, so to speak.
Yeah. That's in the lagoon cabin here in Myrtle Beach, the place where Baba gave interviews and greeted and met people for the first time, families, groups. But above the chair is things that are real are given and received in silence.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I just love that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much was imparted, I would say, by the Mandali, just by that internal silence that was present in them. Even though they may have been outwardly speaking, there was somehow a calm, a stopped, they were kind of stopped inwardly, and a stillness at the innermost level.
Wow.
I know when I would go to embrace Pendu was one of the early Mandali, and he would sit in a chair kind of near a Mandali hall, and he had gotten really injured in the accident in 1956. I'll tell that story sometime. There's a beautiful story about him. But anyway, when I would go to embrace him, I would feel my body, some inner body would go into the core of him, into this nice warm ocean. And I would be in that ocean for a while and then come back into my body at the end of the embrace. In other words, the interior of him was just like this vast, warm ocean, still ocean. It's incredible. No words were spoken, you know.
So it's like Baba's essence, what he had been implanted in his people for them to carry on, his mandali, for them to pass it on to all the other pilgrims that came on after him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Baba working, and we had them outwardly. So immensely helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how about taking off that screen so we can see everybody? There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Now I can see myself talking to you.
Yeah. But anyway,
That's one thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Just one thing it reminds. On September 23rd, 1954, Darwin Shaw wrote the Song of the Wind. So probably if you can sing that tomorrow or anytime in our next meeting, because that's September
I have
23rd.
to have the words, yeah.
Just a request.
Let the song of the wind ever remind me of your love.
September 23rd, that's tomorrow, our time.
Yeah.
Let its soul how do you do? Let its soul healing balm sigh through your being.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
And know that I have loved you as only God can love. And I will love you thus throughout eternity. Something like that. And what it was, they were in, I mean, you probably remember, they were in the what's called the museum room now. They were in there with Bob, and there are these high windows up there, and the breeze was coming through there, and that inspired him to write that. So I think soon after Baba had broken up that little gathering, and some of them were just sitting there in such a deep state, and he had a legal pad, a stenographer pad, and he just wrote that down. And while he was there, he wrote this down as Baba was dictating it on the alphabet board. Baba said, "Don't worry. Let me do the worrying. I enjoy working things out. There is no use for you and I worrying. If you are going to worry, I won't worry." But the significant line there is, I enjoy working things out. So when we worry, we rob Baba of something he enjoys doing, working things out for us. That's what I say. So when I find myself worrying about something, I realize that I'm cutting into Baba's time, cutting him out of something he wants to do. Really, that helps me not to worry.
Yeah, I remember you saying that earlier, and after you said that, I remember that too. You know, I enjoy working things out. I keep remembering that. So thank you for saying that.
Absolutely.
One, and you know what makes this other person tick. You know that those two are like they constantly play in my head whenever I'm when I have to. Sometimes when I have to talk to people, or I have to, have some one-on-ones and things like that, that sentence you said about what makes this other person tick basically shifts my focus to them from me, and that's helping me quite a bit.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, wow. No, we're just so lucky, and as I always say, Baba loves and adores us no matter what.
Baba loves.
It's not like there sometimes he likes us, sometimes he checks in on us, and then he goes off somewhere. He is right there, enjoying every little thing that we do, and it's not like we have to win his love. It's already there.
Okay, Jeff, I need to take a leave. I need to get to my
Yeah,
work.
I'm gonna go. Nasreen, are you still there?
Yes,
Thank you, everybody. Good night
yes,
and
I am
good day to you
listening.
all. Jai
I
Baba.
am listening.
We're gonna head out.
Oh, please go. It's too late for you.
Yeah, Marge, are you there?
Jeff, before you leaving, I just bring you one more prayer which has given to the Mandali by Baba, not the beloved, oh beloved. I just read that was given Baba in 1953. Another prayer for the Mandali. Each of the Mandali was asked by Baba to repeat the following prayer while he bowed down to the feet of each of us. Almighty God, help Baba to finish his work by December end and help us all to hold on to Baba's Daman till the very end and to share both his humiliation and glorification.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And
Baba.
also Baba has given a prayer for the road during the Manonash wandering. That was, this is a big prayer because that was in Awakeners 19th volume, part 2, page 8 and 9. That's Sum and Substances. If you want me to read, it takes 5 minutes. If you permit me, I'll read.
Okay, go ahead. That'll be the denouement.
You know, as for some of the different prayers he gave us, here is one written in Gujarati. It is a prayer for the road during the Manonash wandering, given to us in November 1951. Who will now translate this into English? It would take a lot of time, but it is so beautiful. It shows us he became a simple human being aspiring for God. Do you know what Manonash means? It means alienation of the mind. Who alienates the mind? A person who has a mind, who is striving to seek God, who is a seeker and imploring the Lord to help him. So you see, Baba becomes all that. He is all, everything, on all planes, and he is here, and he was a seeker. Now dictate the following prayer. So there was a period for 4 months when we are traveling, when Baba began to Manonash pace and came here. We had recite the prayer in Manonash cabin. So now you see the conditions for such prayers. See how Baba became a seeker and sees how he implores the Lord to help him. And the prayer is, O Parvardigar, ocean of infinite mercy, Baba, with great humility and implore you, and that you bestow upon him courage and help him, so that he would not retrace his steps. During the pace of Manonash, forgive him for his trespass, due to weakness of his mind, and give him such courage, and that he will never tell a lie, never hurt the feeling of anyone, will not do anything injustice to anybody, and that he will not harass his companion who are serving him faithfully and wholeheartedly, and bestow upon him such grace, and what while abiding by all conditions and fulfilling them, and he brings about the end of the endless of new life in 4 months through Manonash pace. Heard the? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we heard it. Yeah.
That was in Meher Baba, November 1951, original in Gujarati, Awakener magazine. 19th volume, part 2, page 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Thanks, Match, and that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jai
Well,
Baba.
let's take off.
Baba.
Let's dissolve into the cyberspace here.
Jai Baba.
Okay. Jai Baba and good night. All of you have a
Baba
good
ki
night.
jai.
Night. Yeah.
Har Meher Baba ki jai.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye, Dinesh and Sham. Yeah.
Bye bye. Good night. Jai Baba.